So let's talk about what made combat in Kingdom Hearts 3 unsatisfying. Now I'm looking at this analytically. I actually had quite a bit of fun with Kingdom Hearts 3, but a lot of the problems with it stem from input buffer. Kingdom Hearts is already a relatively low hit-stop game. It's already a little bit hard to tell when you make contact with an enemy. However, Kingdom Hearts 3 also has a very, very large input buffer for an action game. Now let me explain what an input buffer is. Video games don't actually just translate button presses one-to-one. Like, it is not that you press a button and that immediately tells the game, do a thing. If games did this, they would feel horrible to play. Because if you mistimed your button press, nothing would happen. Say Sora swung his Keyblade and you pressed the attack button again while the animation was going off, nothing would happen. He would just swing and stop. So instead of translating actions one-to-one, games have an input buffer, basically a space and time that they read all of your inputs and try to determine what you wanted to do. So if you're just mashing on the attack button, the game reads the input buffer and goes, oh, you probably want to attack after you finish your last attack, and then it makes Sora do that. It doesn't matter what your timing is, because it's just seeing you press attack, 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 and it's like, okay, make him attack again. Now the problem with input buffers is that it's a Goldilocks situation. It can't be too small or too big. Too small and your inputs will get dropped if you're a frame or two off. Too big and the game will get confused about what you're actually trying to do. If the input buffer is large enough and you input attack and guard and a magic spell and dodge, what does it do? Instinctually, we say, do the last one, do the last command, but it doesn't always know what that is. You might always input another command. It can't do the first one either because your desire might have changed. You might have been mashing attack at one point and now you want to guard. A larger input buffer means that the more you mash, the less your button presses will have to do with your action. And Kingdom Hearts 3's input buffer is huge. They wanted you to mash. They made it a very mashy game. Mashy games are very accessible, especially to kids. But the problem is, as you said before, you get kind of disconnected from the combat. You start going on autopilot, and then when a situation comes in where you have to actually make important decisions, it feels like the controls aren't responding to you. They feel mushy and loose. I actually think that input buffer should be an option that you could set in the options menu. Fan hackers did this with Brawl mods way back on the Wii. But yet AAA games and indie games never seem to let you customize your input buffer. I guess they think the concept is just too much for a common gamer to understand. But honestly, we've been fine learning things like field of view and input sensitivity. I think input buffer options are just the next logical step.